Hey everybody, long time no see. It's Lauren. You probably don't even remember who I am, but welcome to my channel. This is Books and Tea and All Things Me, and it's been about a year since I've made a video. Maybe even longer. I didn't even look, but I think it's been probably, over a year. I think my last video was uploaded like maybe March or April of 2016, so it's been a hot minute, but I'm here today because I really miss BookTube and I've been reading a lot more again lately, and I've still been watching BookTube videos like nonstop. Even after I gave up making videos, was barely even reading, I was still watching my favorite booktubers because I love this community and I did not want to give it up. So I'm here today to talk about what I've been reading this year. I can't make you any promises about how many videos there will be in the future. I have no idea what I'm doing with my channel. I've considered changing my channel name, broadening the topics that I cover or the types of videos that I do on my channel. I feel like I'm not reading enough to make solid BookTube content. I've read, I don't know, I'm thinking about 16 books this year, maybe less than that even. I'm not really sure. I set my Goodreads goal for 52, which is a book a week, and I'm behind, but that's okay. I'm not stressing about it. But I just don't feel like I'm reading enough to do a whole lot of tag videos or have my wrap-ups be long and interesting. So I don't know. I've thought about doing some lifestyle vlogging type of things. Maybe sharing a little bit about life as a mom now that I'm a mom. By the way, I haven't even talked about my baby yet. If you guys knew me before and watched my channel before, you know that I kind of quit BookTube because I was pregnant. I was not feeling into reading. I just could not get myself to pick up a book, and then the baby came and I had no time to read, nor really any motivation. So like I said, things have improved since the new year. I've been reading some books, but anyways, I want to tell you about my son. I wish he was here right now, but he's in bed, but maybe I'll make a video with him. Anyways, I'll put a picture up so you can see him. He is so cute, you guys. His name is Hudson James, and he turns 9 months on June 30. So today is June 28. I don't know if I'll get the video up before June 30, but yeah, he's 9 months already. It's just crazy. He's crawling, pulling himself up on things, eating lots of different foods. I wouldn't be surprised if he's walking soon, but it's just really fun being a mom. It's very tiring though. So books do not always come number one on my list of things to do when I have a second to relax. But let's not ramble any longer. So I will talk about the books that I've read since the beginning of the year, and I'm just going to try to make this quick. If you do want my in-depth thoughts about any of these books, please let me know. I'd be willing to make a video review about some of them, or even just a video where I talk more about a couple of them if you're interested. There's already one book that I'm for sure thinking about doing a book talk on, but otherwise I'm just gonna quick tell you my thoughts about these. So the first book that I read this year was Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, and I was really excited for this book because I loved Fangirl, and I just really wasn't that impressed. I don't think fantasy is Rainbow Rowell's genre. I think she does great with contemporary, but I just did not really enjoy the fantasy. I couldn't stand the similarities between Simon and Baz, their storyline, and the Harry Potter books. I know for some people that was a really cool thing, and it was something that they really enjoyed about reading Carry On, but I just did not like it. Not my thing. I gave this one a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Then the next book I read was Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, and I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I liked it, but I also could not stand parts of this book. During the first half of this book, I was absolutely bored out of my mind. I was so confused about why people loved this book because it was just so depressing and the relationship was awful. And I kept saying to my husband, like, why do people like this book? I don't know what could possibly happen that will make me change my mind. And then obviously the twist came and I was like, holy cow, what a trip. Like, oh my gosh. So I liked the last half of the book. I thought it was very entertaining and I could not stop reading because I just needed to know what was going on. But that first half I just really struggled with. And then the third book I read was The Martian by Andy Weir, and I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars, which is a lot lower of a rating than most people give it. And the reason for this is because about 80% of the book was just way over my head. And you guys, I took a lot of science classes to become a nurse, so I did understand parts of it, but there was just so much that I did not understand, and I'm one of those people that I like to understand things. So the fact that there was so much detail about like the scientific and physics aspects of the things that he was doing just bothered me because I felt like I had to keep rereading them until I understood, and there just wasn't a chance of me understanding, but I continued to try to understand. So really that was kind of frustrating. Obviously the humor is awesome and I loved Mark as a main character. That was just really, really enjoyable. I definitely laughed a lot in this book, but it just, I don't know, it really wasn't my favorite. I'm glad I read it. I actually liked the movie a lot better than the book. Don't say that very often, but I did, and so I'm glad that I read the book and watched the movie. I think it was a good story, but the book just wasn't really my favorite. Then the next book I read was Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult, and I read this for a book club that my friends and I decided to start, and we've been just reading a book a month and getting together and chatting about it. So this was the first book that we read together, and I've never read a Jodi Picoult book before. This really wasn't my thing either, but I did think that it was a very important story. So if you don't know what it's about, the main theme in this book is race relations in the United States, and that was really important and very eye-opening, and it just made me think a lot about my own thoughts and beliefs and actions, and it was good. It just isn't really my type of genre, so I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. So the next book I read was The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins, and this was after I read Gone Girl. I wanted another thriller because I enjoyed the thriller aspect of Gone Girl, and so I was looking for another one, and obviously The Girl on the Train is really popular, so picked this one up. This was a really, really quick read for me. I liked this one. I didn't love it, but I gave it a 4 stars. I was super into it. I just don't enjoy reading unlikable main characters that much. When the protagonist is like a sorry, sad, depressed person, I just really have a hard time with it sometimes, and that was what this book was completely. And so I really liked the thriller parts of it and like the mystery and trying to figure out what was going on, but the characters in this story just did not do it for me. I really like to fall in love with characters that I'm reading about, and I did not do that with the characters in this book. Then the next book I picked up was Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, and I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I really like Colleen Hoover's books. I think that they're nice, easy, enjoyable reads, and this one fulfilled that for me. I was just looking for something that I could kind of get through pretty quickly and not have to think too hard, and so this was good for that. I, again, didn't love it, but I also enjoyed it. I read this one quite a while ago now, and it's really not that memorable. I can't even really remember that much of what it's about, so it didn't stick with me, but I liked it. Then the next book I read was Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi, and I picked up this one because I had bought it from Book Outlet a really long time ago, and I decided it was probably time for me to read it, and I was a little bit disappointed. I did not love this book, and for some reason I continued on and I read Unravel Me and Ignite Me, and I'm just kind of unimpressed. So I thought that because I had the second book, I should probably pick it up and give it a try, and I had heard that As Juliet's mind becomes a little bit healthier, the books get a little bit easier to read, because that is why I struggled with Shatter Me so much, is because I could not stand Juliet and the way that her mind just does not stop, and it's like so many words and so much like weird flowery language from her. You could tell that she had mental instability just by reading from her point of view, and that was hard for me to read. I just didn't really enjoy it that much. It was just uncomfortable, and just the way that she thinks and talks, I didn't enjoy it. But anyways, I picked up the second one because I thought, I hear it gets a little bit better, maybe I'll like it. Didn't really love it. So then I borrowed the third one from the library and thought, I just have to finish this series now that I've invested myself into the first two, and it was better. The last book was the best one in my opinion, but I just don't love this series. And now the fact that there's more books coming out, I thought I was like closing off the trilogy, reading them all, and I could be done with it, but now there's gonna be more and I have to decide if I'm gonna read them or not, and I don't want to make that decision. So I'm looking back on my ratings now, and apparently I gave Shatter Me 3.5 stars. I gave Unravel Me 2.5. I don't remember why I didn't like this one as well, but I guess I didn't. And then I gave Ignite Me 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and this was another book club book, and I really, really enjoyed this one. This is a psychological thriller that a lot of people have read. I've seen it on BookTube, and I was actually the one that suggested that our group reads this one, so I was really excited that everybody liked it. But this was a fun one to talk about in book club because there was just so much like crazy what if type stuff to think about. Like, what if something like this actually were to happen in the future? Ran out of storage on my phone and needed to upload and film some more, so sorry if anything changed. But anyways, this was a great book for a book club. I think that it brought up a lot of great topics for us to discuss, and I really, really enjoyed it and highly recommend it, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. The next thing I read I think is technically considered a short story, and that is The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn, and I got this one from the ebook library because I knew it was a really quick short read, and I wanted to read more by Gillian Flynn because I had previously read Gone Girl, like I said, and then I actually read Sharp Objects before the beginning of this year too. So I wanted to just get through some more of her stuff, and I enjoyed this one. I thought it was really entertaining. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Nothing super duper special, but I liked it. And then following that, I also read Dark Places by Gillian Flynn, and I loved this book. I read this when we were on vacation, so most of it was read when we were traveling in the car, and it literally helped the time pass so quickly. We drove from Michigan, where I live, to Louisiana to board a cruise ship for spring break, and so we had like hours and hours and hours of driving, and this helped so much, and I really, really, really liked this one. I did not guess how the ending was gonna all come together at all. It was a complete surprise for me, so I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. And then next I read one of my favorite books of all time now, and that is The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. I loved this book so much. This literally was like the perfect book in my opinion. It had just the right amount of whimsy, and I loved the characters, and I loved the magical realism. It blew my mind. I loved it. Definitely going to be one of my favorite books of the whole year and of all time probably, because I just really, really enjoyed this one. I also read this one on vacation, and I could not put it down. We have a baby crying. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. And now it's storming, so great time to film, Lauren. Good job. So anyways, the next book I read was 2 by 2 by Nicholas Sparks, and this was another book club book. Definitely not one I would have chosen to read myself, and I did not really enjoy this book very much. It's pretty long too, so it was an okay read. I thought the story was hard to read at times, being a mother and having this focusing around a family with marital problems and just getting that perspective about how that affects children. I mean, my husband and I are in an awesome place. There's absolutely nothing wrong with our relationship, but just to read this was difficult. The characters in this book were pretty good. There was a plot point that happened over halfway through the book that just kind of came out of nowhere, and I didn't think it was very necessary, and I didn't love that. And it was sort of like a twist, and I didn't care for that. So I gave this one a 2.5 out of 5 stars. I didn't think it was that great, and I didn't think it was worth the time that I spent reading it. Also, that was my first Nicholas Sparks book ever. I have not ever read anything by him before. The next book I read was The Female of the Species by Minnie McGinnis, and this book was amazing. I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. There was just something about it that I couldn't quite give it a 5 stars for, but I absolutely loved it, and I thought that it was such an important read, and I'm so glad that Mindy wrote about it, and she did it so well. A lot of you probably already know what this book is about, but it focuses on rape culture, and I thought it did it excellently, and I'm so glad I read the book. It was just a really entertaining read for one, and I really liked the characters, but then just the importance of the themes behind it too made it all that much better. Then I read The Curious Charms of Arthur Pepper by Phaedra Patrick. I'm not really sure how to say her first name, but this is another book club book, and I enjoyed this one. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. A lot of you have probably not heard of this book before, so I'll just give you a quick synopsis. The story follows this elderly gentleman who loses his wife, and a year after her death, he's cleaning out her stuff and he finds this charm bracelet hidden in one of her boots, and he's never seen it before, and it has, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It has 8 charms on it that he sets out on this quest to figure out what the charms signify. And it's just a story about how he breaks out of his shell, and he had been in this rut of doing the same thing every day and just being this very lonely man who never got out of his house, never socialized after his wife died. And so when he's on the quest to figure out what these charms are all about, he goes on all these adventures and he meets all these people, and it's cute. It's very heartwarming. I didn't think it was the best book for a book club pick. There wasn't really a lot to talk about aside from the ways that he grew and changed throughout the book, but it was cute. I enjoyed it. Then the next book I read, and you guys, this is the second to the last book. I'm almost done. I know this video is forever long, but hopefully you're following and you're enjoying this. But I read The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh, and I really liked this book too. I bought this book a while back, and I've been meaning to read it for a really long time, and I knew it was a duology, so I could read the first one and read the second one and be done and check another series off my list, which is always so satisfying. But yeah, I really liked this. I didn't love the writing style. I did and I didn't. It's really hard to explain. I thought it was very beautiful, but I don't know that it's really my thing. I think that the fact that there were so many words that I didn't know, and I know that's just so hard to admit as a reader, but there were a lot of words that I did not know, and not just the words that she had to explain back in the glossary, but just general English words that I just didn't know. But you could tell she uses a thesaurus a lot, and I don't love that. So I did like this book though. I was really thrown off by the fact that there was magic introduced over halfway through the book, and that's really not a spoiler, I don't think, so I'm just gonna throw it out there, but I was not expecting that. I didn't know that there was magic to this series, but I thought Shazi was an awesome main character. I am excited to read the second book, and I probably will be picking it up very soon, and I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. And then finally, last but definitely not least, this is my favorite book that I've read so far this year, and that is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. And this is the one that I'm probably going to make some sort of book talk or book review video on because I loved this book so much. Obviously, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was amazing. I was not expecting what happened in this book to happen. Like, I didn't really know what this was about, and I know a lot of people say that's the best way to go into it, and I think that that is true, but this book absolutely destroyed me. I'm not gonna say much more about it, but holy cow. If you want to hear more thoughts about this book, please let me know in the comments down below, and if enough of you are interested in hearing what I thought about it, then I will do a video on it. I feel like I could talk about this book for like an hour and still not get everything out that I feel about it. So if you haven't read this one, even if you don't think you like Colleen Hoover books, you need to read this book, because this is so much different than the other two books that I've read by her. I've read Confess and Ugly Love, which I talked about earlier in this video, and oh my gosh, amazing. It's just so good. So that is it. Those are all the books that I have read since the beginning of 2017, and it's not a ton, but I'm pretty happy with it, and I've been reading even more in the last like couple of weeks. The last few that I talked about were ones that I finished very recently, so I'm excited that I'm getting back into the reading world, and that I'm kind of out of that slump that I got in after Hudson was born, and just never feeling like I had the energy or like the brain power to pick up a book. So yeah, I'm really excited. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you are still subscribed to my channel after all this time, I love you, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you're happy my face is back. Like I said, I'm not going to make any guarantees about how often I'm going to make videos or anything like that, because my life is just too unpredictable, and I have been so busy with my Mary Kay business in the last couple months. So that is really like, that has to take #1 priority, because that is my job, and that's life. But I missed this. I'm so glad. It felt so good to be in front of the camera again, and I feel like I was super awkward, but hopefully I did okay. So anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. It really helps a lot. And if you want to see more videos from me, thumbs up, write some comments down below. Let me know what you guys have been reading. Let me know if there's anything that I missed out on that I need to know. All right, talk to y'all later. Bye.